Welcome to Dental Success Beyond Chairside, the podcast that is dedicated to revolutionising the way dental professionals succeed beyond the dental chair. Join us for a unique blend of insightful interviews with industry experts and valuable tidbits of information to help you thrive in your dental specialist practice. In each 20-minute episode, we'll delve into a variety of topics, including HR, marketing, innovative techniques and systems, and AI, to help you transform your practice and unlock its full potential. Whether you're a dentist, specialist, or oral health therapist looking to enhance your practice, this podcast is your go-to resource for professional, personal, and profitable success. Get ready to go beyond the dental chair and discover what lies ahead in your practice journey with Dental Success Beyond Chairside. Welcome to today's episode of Dental Success Beyond Chairside. Are you a practice owner or manager with procedures all over the place, or you don't even know where they are? Today, I'm joined by Joe Chickerillo from My Dental SOP. Joe, thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you on our show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, very excited too. Joe spent the last 15 years helping bring various startup SaaS companies to market, all with a focus on automation, scalability, and efficiency. The majority of that time has been in the dental world. He's got a passion for building processes, creating infrastructure, and disruptive solutions in general. Joe, can you share your story with us and tell us how My Dental SOP helps dental practices get all their processes, systems, and procedures organized in one place?
Sure. So My Dental SOP is basically the first and only system in the dental space that takes all of the standard operating procedures, all the processes, everything that you need to know about how to run a practice. And it digitizes, organizes, and consolidates it all so that they become instantly accessible by anybody in the practice. It also standardizes and automates 90% of the onboarding and training for new hires, so it ensures everybody gets that same kind of standard of care, so to speak, that we talk about giving to our patients. It saves a bunch of time and money, but more importantly, it ensures everybody's doing things the way that you want them to be doing them. It basically adds a level of self-sufficiency and accountability that most practices don't have. The tagline that I usually use when I'm talking to a practice is, if your practice manager got abducted by aliens tomorrow, could your practice still function on its own? The answer is usually some form of laughter combined with a no. The nice thing about our platform, or other ones that are, kind of in that same realm, is if you can put it all in one place and make it all instantly accessible, digital, and searchable, then anybody that's brand new could walk in today and look up anything that they need to know how to do. It helps keep everybody on the same track, keep them doing things the way that you want them to be done. Like I said, adds a level of accountability and self-sufficiency that most practices just don't have.
Excellent. So you identified a need, and I can definitely see this need in dental practices. I remember talking, Joe, to a practice owner, and she said, Michelle, we've got all of these systems that we had, but I don't actually know what's happened. Then we decide that that's not working, we do something else, and then we don't even know where it goes. And she's like, I don't even know where my stuff's all stored. I think that this is a normal thing. As you said, with the practice manager getting abducted, there is a lot of information in the brain of a practice manager without how it actually runs. With the processes, like some people don't actually have them all written down and they are in someone's head. Are you able to easily capture that information if it's written on sticky notes, or it's just handwritten somewhere, or if they've done a quick video? Are you able to capture all of that and consolidate it and get it organized?
Yeah, so that's part of the cool thing about our platform in general, whether you're using us or just kind of doing this on your own. You want to have everything all in one place, right? What you just described is basically the case with every practice that I talk to. One of the things I always ask whenever anybody inquires with us is, do you have SOPs now, like anything written down? Do you have any sort of how-tos? If somebody has a question about a process, where do they go? And it's usually some combination of, well, we've got some sticky notes, we've got a Google Drive or a Dropbox, there's a group chat that's on WhatsApp that we all talk to one another, and then the office manager knows a bunch of stuff, and that's like nobody else really knows all the things that are in her head, right? And then you've got usually, like, the running joke is that there's always a binder. There's always a binder in the back. You got to wonder why somebody doesn't follow SOPs. Well, if you're, let's say, a front desk person and somebody comes into the practice and I'm like, hey, Michelle, great to see you. I see you have your appointment here at 8 o'clock, so I'm really excited that you're here. Let me go ahead and check you in. And I'm doing the thing on the computer, right? Now, the person at the front desk, the patient, just sees that I'm typing on the computer. They don't really know what I'm doing, right? So picture the two options you have. Number one is the traditional way. You know what? Hold on, Michelle. Let me go figure out if I'm doing this the right way. Now, immediately in your head, you're like, oh my God, like, you don't know how to put in my information. Are you going to, hopefully you don't screw up my insurance? Like, if there's all this question, like, oh, okay, there's suddenly all this doubt, right? But hold on, while I walk in the back room, go find the binder, brush the dust off, look at the table of contents, flip through. You're smiling because you can picture this. It's horrible, right? You would never do that. That's why people don't follow SOPs. Now picture instead having this all in a digital, instantly searchable fashion where on the same computer screen, you're still standing there. Hey, Michelle, great to see you. Glad you're here for your appointment 10 minutes early. I'm checking you in. Now, in reality, in my second tab on my screen, I've just opened up the search box to go, okay, how do I do insurance verification? Or how do I do, I don't know, like patient check-in or whatever the case is. The person on the other side of the desk, the patient, doesn't even know that I'm looking anything up. But the reality is I'm looking up by step how to do this. So it's seamless. You actually get a much higher level of compliance and people actually do things all in a uniform fashion. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. This is one thing that we've been talking about is that we've got 5 generations of people working in the workplace now, from boomers to Gen Z, basically. And boomers do like the hard copy and they do like to have that written down and to feel it. But generally, most people are really happy with the digital platforms now, particularly YouTube and videos. A lot of people do go to videos to watch. I think digitizing it and having it on a shared drive or however you do it, or your My Dental SOP, is a really good idea. I actually didn't think about, I'm not sure how to do that, or I can just look that up here while the patient's here and they don't know I'm actually doing it. That's good. When you're putting these systems into place, you talked about digitizing it instantly, getting that standardized care is so important. So every single patient gets exactly the same treatment as their friend, co-worker, whoever, because it's all about attraction, retention and referral. So you want to make sure that that's right. How do you deliver these to digitize them? Are they videos, written, screenshots? Can you explain a little bit more about that, please, Joe?
Yeah, and our platform, it's any combination of those things. A lot of times, like I said, people have content, we'll call it, in like 5, 6, 7 different places, right? If it's already digital, people can send it directly to us and we'll just import it for them kind of to start it off. If they have a physical book or a binder or sticky notes, they can either mail us like the physical book or the manual or the binder via snail mail and we'll scan it all in for them. Or they can take pictures of these things and use like AI to just transcribe it. They can talk directly into the system to take pictures, videos on their phones and upload that directly in. But it's all super easy to do. It's just like adding it all into what we call modules. And modules are basically organized by either topic or by roles. For instance, you might have a module that's just all about onboarding. If you hire somebody brand new, they always get this onboarding. It goes through kind of our vision and mission and value statement, and then the new employee paperwork, and then here's how our practice operates and all that. Whereas a role-based one might be a receptionist or an insurance benefits coordinator or a hygienist, right? And they all have their own sort of module that has all the associated things in there. All of those different sources we can either take in digitally or manually, and we upload them all and organize them by whatever kind of makes the most sense. But all of that can be put into any number of modules. So even if you have one module that's like, for instance, about hygiene, you can have pictures, videos, text, links to other things. One of the other things that I always recommend doing is make it like part of how you make it easy for people to access is having everything in one central place, which is us or whatever you wind up using, right? But it's not just about the clinical, it's not just about the administrative, it's also third-party things. So things like your practice management software. If you have a voice over IP like a phone system, or if you use a particular software for your online scheduling or for your reviews or your analytics, or maybe you have actual machinery in the practice like a CEREC milling machine or an iTero Invisalign scanner, right? All of those things also have their own instructions and manuals and videos and FAQs and help sections and all that. The idea here is it's not just the clinical, it's not just the administrative, it's really anything at all that can be that needs to have instructions for a practice. So all that goes in one place, and you can put all that stuff in as many modules as you want.
No, that's really great. I like it that you said that you could talk. So the practice managers have got a lot of stuff in their heads. If the practice manager just said blah, 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 you can extrapolate that data. I know you've been talking about if you want to do it yourself. I think some practices are happy to do it themselves and to do Loom or Tango or AI Scribe to help them. But one thing about My Dental SOP is that you'll do it for them. Is that right? So it's not too cumbersome for the practice.
It's not that we're creating the SOPs for the practice.
No, not creating, putting it together. Sorry.
Exactly. We'll kind of ingest everything that they have and organize it in a way that makes sense to begin with. And then we'll hand it off to them, teach them how to use it. And the practice, then it becomes a living, breathing document that lives forever, that for as long as you're at the practice. You can add stuff, remove stuff, change stuff. It's not just about the SOPs themselves. That's obviously the crux of what we're talking about. But the other ancillary type of content that you want to have in there is when you go to, for instance, a CE course and you want to take notes on that CE course in real time. Maybe you want to share all that with the rest of the team in real time through what we call our notes taker function. Maybe you have a consultant come in and you do a whole 2-day course on maybe leadership or how to present cases better and get higher case acceptance, whatever it is, right? You can be taking notes. You can have different content from all the different things over the course of the next, let's say 10 years and have all that stuff in there accessible to everybody. So even if somebody was there taking notes and that person winds up, let's say, getting married and moving, and then you have somebody else come in and replace them, the new person can walk in and have access to all that same level of stuff right out the gate. You can assign them the individual things that you want them to know, like the onboarding and that role-specific training. But once they're done with that part, then they just get access to the whole platform or whatever you want to designate them to.
So
they can be up to date.
That actually makes me think about something, Joe. Apologies for interrupting. You can have different access areas. If you've got a standard operating procedures for your practice manager, there's quite often a lot of confidential information that you've got on there. So different people can have different access to different folders. Is that right?
Yeah, in our platform, you can do that. And you can also even assign individual learning pathways or training modules, and you can actually track, like you can have quizzes at the end of them. You can track what people are doing in there. So if you're a brand new hire and I go, oh, okay, Michelle, your first week on the job is actually going to be working from home, I'm going to assign you all of these learning modules, and it's the onboarding, it's the training, it's the general office SOPs, then maybe like a role-specific thing like a hygienist. Then once I see that you've completed those, then I can give you access to anything else in the system. But to your point, I'm not going to give you access to the stuff that's only for the owner and the office manager.
Okay. So with My Dental SOP, do you have a guideline or a template to help them navigate what they need? Sometimes business owners and practice managers, they might miss things. So you were just talking about like putting your iTero, your VoIP on there. So it is like that brain's trust. Do you hold their hand about what they need to do?
We always do that as far as the onboarding goes, but the really nice thing is where the system came from, where the whole idea came from. Our company's owner and founder, her name is Laura Johnston, and she's actually a former dental consultant. She would be hired by these practices for thousands of dollars to come in and teach them to basically learn everything about their practice and then build out and teach them the systems that they needed to use to operate on a efficient, scalable basis, all the things that we're talking about. And the problem was that she would go in and do these things, and then let's say 6 months, 9 months later, the same practice would call her back up and say, hey, can you come back in and retrain everybody? And it's like, well, what happened the first time? You didn't have any tools in place to retain that information, do a knowledge gap assessment, have a searchable database. That's where the whole idea came from. With that in mind, to answer your question, all of the framework that she would use to help build out these SOPs and processes for all the practices actually comes with the platform. So you have around pre-made templates. Again, it's templates. You're going to want to customize it to the practice. Obviously, it's not going to be specific to you, to your practice, so to speak. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Part of the onboarding is we'll go through, okay, what do you have? We'll call that column A. And it's usually a relatively limited list. And then we'll go, okay, here's what we have, which is column B. And you can check as many boxes out of here as you want. And then we'll pipe in that content for you and show you how to go in and edit it. Most often, there's somebody that has a level of responsibility at the practice, oftentimes an office manager, who will then go in and start customizing that stuff to fit the practice. Or other times, they'll have their role-specific stuff. The lead hygienist goes and does the hygiene ones. And then the lead CSR goes and does the front desk stuff.
So, Joe, what I love about My Dental SOP is that you do have all of these things here, as you explained, and the background is from a business consultant point of view. Mm-hmm. Onboarding and helping training and getting My Dental SOP into the practice, what sort of support do you provide, please?
Typically, it's 2 phone calls. The first one we call like the welcome call. We get to know the practice and see what they have right now and what their goals are. Some practices have a different focus. Most people have a specific thing in mind that they're looking for when they come to us. As far as the onboarding goes, we'll typically do the first phone call to figure out what it is that they're looking for and figure out what they have and what can we give you to help supplement that. Then we'll take a couple of days to import all of the information that we get from them. A Google Drive, Dropbox, sticky notes, Word documents, all that type of stuff. We'll put all that together in the way that we think makes the most sense. Then we'll do a second phone call, which we call the go live call, which is here's what we've done. Does it look like what you're expecting? Do you need any help? Do you want it, and kind of walk them through how to do it? More often than not, we'll do a third call as well, which we'll call a lunch and learn, which we'll do typically on a Friday afternoon with the whole team. We can show everybody how to get into the system and how to search for things. That's pretty much it. We're always happy to help anytime anybody needs anything. It's just so user-friendly that once you're set up, if you've ever created or edited a Microsoft Word document, a Google Doc, or an email, it's all the same buttons in the system. It's all super, super easy to do. Just being as bluntly honest as I can, once we have people set up, we honestly don't hear from them very often.
And I think with all of those shared drives, everybody's used to having folders. As you said, it's searchable, so different folders for hygienists, for clinic, for front desk, for admin. That's fairly easy to navigate. You can set up the processes and digitize. I didn't know about the note taking. That's something that's really nice, just to go in there and be able to do live. Is there anything that we've missed, Joe, that you think might be pertinent to practice owners and managers?
Probably not about our platform. This might be a little bit different. Obviously, we're US based. I'm in Chicago and I'm very familiar with the US dental market. One of the things that we're experiencing here in the States is an overarching hiring crisis and labor shortage.
Same here.
And ADA, the American Dental Association, did a big study to figure out why were people leaving dental practices kind of en masse. They surveyed people that had left a practice, that had worked at a practice and left within 1 year. What was the reason that you left? 56% of them wound up saying they either did not feel like they were set up for success, they didn't have the tools to succeed, they were kind of thrown into the fire, they weren't trained. What it boils down to is really just that poor onboarding experience. So if you're looking to mitigate turnover or make sure that everybody is set up to succeed, maybe take a little bit of work off of the office manager and the doctor to answer every single question. That's why you want to have all the stuff documented. That same study showed that replacing just a dental assistant costs on average $15,000. That's not counting their salary or any type of incentives like a sign-up. It's just that much to recruit and train and hire somebody. It's when you talk about why do you want to have these things systematized, like, oh yeah, that'd be nice. I'll get to that one day. It's not a high priority. I would argue that it is, because what you're doing is setting your own team up, not just for success and accountability and self-sufficiency, but like you're also setting yourself up so that when new people come in, they're set up to succeed on the same standards as anybody who's been there for 5 years. People that are there right now are, generally speaking, happier because what they're trying to do is made easier. The point is you got to get the stuff systematized, digitized, and instantly accessible. You know what I mean?
I totally agree, Joe. That is a very big thing with regard to onboarding. We have the same issues here with turnover. I advocate onboarding so much, and especially systems, and putting those systems in place, because you find when you've got those systems, everybody knows what they're doing. They know how to do it. They know why to do it. You have happy patients, you have a happy team, you have a happy owner. So agree 100%. Having this platform, that's what I liked, that it was all in one. You can just hand it over to get someone to do it for you and put it together and give you a bit of a guideline. But if people don't want to do that, you can set it up yourself as well. There's lots of things out there. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining us this evening, your time, this morning, our time. Totally appreciate you sharing about My Dental SOP. For more information about Joe and My Dental SOP, please see our show notes. Thanks again for joining us, Joe, and have a beautiful evening.
Thanks, Michelle. Have a great morning.
Thank you. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast or YouTube channel. Your support helps us continue sharing practical insights from leaders in the dental industry. In our next episode of Dental Success Beyond Chairside, I'll be joined by Vicky Samios, founder of Above It. We'll be talking about mindset, leadership, and how the right support can make running your practice smoother and more effective. If you're ready to shift your mindset and make real change in your practice, this is an episode not to miss. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.